course how to book a tour, the first question you always ask to your students is, why do you want to tour?
Yeah, I do think it's important to, not just with music, but with most things that are you think that are important in your life, you want to be able to explain why you're doing something. Why are they important? And why do you want to invest so much energy and time and effort into something? Um, it's important that we are able to tell ourselves what the reason and the motivation behind it is. Because we all have different reasons and motivations to do anything. And any project that you want to undertake that, like booking a tour, takes so much energy and commitment and planning ahead, you better know why you're doing it. Because even if you become very successful and you're touring all the time, but you're not getting out of it what you hope you would get out of it, you're still not successful.
Why is it important for you?
I think I just really like both sides of it, actually. I enjoy the idea that I can turn any idea or fantasy, if you will, into reality. There is something really powerful about that. And touring, because I'm a musician and I like to perform for an audience. I want to show the music that is close to my heart to an audience. Touring is a vehicle for that. And if you want to play original music, what I do with my trio, it's difficult to get your audience to come out every week in the same city. So to play in front of a new audience requires that we move. We will find the audience. We'll go to their venue, move to their city for a night. So there are a couple of reasons, but the main reason for me is that I want to showcase my music, and I get a lot of joy out of it.
But the challenge is also that everywhere you go, you kind of have to create a new audience.
Yes, exactly. And if you do it well, you will be able to create something, what I call this touring cycle. So a couple of years ago, I was playing a lot with the saxophone player, Grace Kelly. And she has been playing for many years. And I noticed that she has maybe 40 places in the year that she can return to. And it's the same audience that comes to see her show, sometimes with different music, sometimes the same show, but they are committed to whatever she has to offer. And I thought, wow, that's amazing to have 40 places that you can go back to every year to perform. And from that core of venues or festivals that you've built a relationship over time, now you can expand. So if she's playing in Jacksonville in Florida, if she goes back there every year, now she can see, oh, wait, there's another city not too far from Jacksonville. Maybe I can set up a concert there too. So this touring circle, this touring network of venues and festivals enables you to expand from something, and you don't have to start over again every time. So I think that's a big benefit from building your audiences in separate places.
But the thing is, she lives in the States.
Sure.
And that's a big place. I mean, in the Netherlands, how would you do that?
Well, I don't think the Netherlands in itself it's like Europe, you know? If you go from New York to Jacksonville, it's a 2-hour flight. I think within 2 hours, you can fly anywhere in Europe. I mean, you're in Spain or in Norway or, you can fly anywhere. And if you can think back bigger than just the Netherlands. The Netherlands has a lot of venues, and I'm touring there maybe once a year, and we can always fill 2 weeks pretty easily with venues in the Netherlands where they have different audiences. So, but you can look outside of it. You don't have to go like extremely far. But I would say if I think about this in sort of hubs, so for me, now I live in New York, but we do these tours also in Florida, where it's like a string of concerts that are happening in Florida. So it will start in the north, maybe in Gainesville, Jacksonville. Then we go to the south, a little bit more to the middle, Orlando, maybe Fort Myers on the west coast, down to this little bit more southern, to Boca Raton or Delray Beach, and then all the way to Miami. And then we fly back. And in all those places, we build an audience over the years. And we've been doing that maybe for 4 or 5 years now. So I'm trying to expand that hub, if you will. Florida becomes a hub, and there's particular routing that I think works best. So we don't have to drive every day for 4 hours. And that's how I try to expand it from there.
And those venues, they welcome you every year again.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, I think they do. Sometimes it's a year and a half in between because I'm not doing the same time interval every time. For instance, in April, we were in Florida, and maybe next year I'll go back, but it might be maybe in February or maybe later in the year. But I'll definitely try to do this once a year, once every year and a half.
And do you always present a new group or you tour with the same people?
I usually tour with the same people, but with a different program, a different repertoire. Sometimes it's because we have a new record coming out, and then this is part of the CD release tour, and we'll play the new music from that record. But I usually, with my trio, I'm pretty. It's one group. I don't work with subs actually.
Yeah, in my case, I love to do this because, well, I mean, you're Dutch, we're both Dutch, but you live in the United States and I still live here in the Netherlands. And one practical reason is that I will have to travel, at least go abroad, in order to also earn a living. And I'm not a big, I mean, I like to give master classes. I do that actually quite often, but I'm not like, like a fixed teaching job. That wouldn't be, I'm not the type for that. So that's also one of the reasons. But of course, the main reason is that I love to share my love for music with any audience in the world. That's the main reason.
And exactly, I think every musician wants to tour because it's fun, right? That's sort of the first thing that comes to mind. But I would say from a career point of view, like the fact that we want to have fun with music is not a question. We know that's why we're playing music. But from a career point of view, I think the touring thing is attributing to a couple of long-term goals, if you will. And let's say that the first goal is that you want to build your audience, what you were referring to before. Building your audience is the essential part of being a performer if you're not a sideman, right? Whether you're a comedian or a musician or any kind of performer, you want to build your audience. You want to collect a group of people that want to see you perform, they become a fan of you, not per se of your music, although your music is your the thing that you're using, the vehicle almost. But I think people become actually fans of the performers.
If you enjoy my podcast, then please subscribe, give it a rating, and share it with other musicians. I also host another podcast, the Mike Del Ferro podcast, with travel stories, interviews with wonderful people, and more. You will find it on Spotify and all other podcast platforms or via my website, mikedelferro.com.